Now there's audio. I did a good start and everything. When last we left off, we were running an adventure where we were writing. I was so professional for a moment there, and none of you heard it. Hi, everybody. Hi. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the show, where there's a smidge of professionalism, and it is thwacked by my inability to understand how OBS works. When last we left off, we were writing an adventure where a fantasy special forces team was conducting an invasion of enemy territory. This was going to be a standalone adventure that could be played for something like 6 to 10 sessions, where the characters go into enemy territory, discover the crazy nonsense these dwarves are up to. They're awakening a titan, unbeknownst to the heroes, and they then continue delving further and further into that territory as we discover the sort of crazy stuff that's going on. And we had already written an outline, and we had then turned that outline into a series of missions. And right now we are going to make our first session. Now, did that opening spiel have audio? I hope so. Hi everybody, how's everybody doing? I'm sorry, Wiser Productions. I wish I was as professional as you tell people I am. That would have been ideal. Thanks, P-Quicks. This is one of my flowery shirts. Thanks, Will. That's lovely to see. We've been very fortunate with the growth and everything, and we're just having so much fun sharing our D&D geekdom with everybody, and I'm very happy with the video we put up today. Not getting the mic. I think it is this mic. Hello. Hi. Is it not? Is it that mic? All right. I'm gonna stop futzing around with the audio. Yes, it might be. So Magnus is moderating, and he's also texting me to make sure that everything goes okay. It might be that this mic is not as good as I'm used to, because this is the audio unprocessed. It's lunchtime in America. Gonna get some good food and do some prep work. I love to see it. Lunch is when I do a remarkably much of D&D prep if I can. Thanks, Fang. That's fantastic. That's so nice to see. Appointment viewing. Listen, lovely. Snap was louder near the camera. See, I think it is the right mic, because if it wasn't, you wouldn't hear anything, because I don't have any other mic plugged into OBS. Robots out. Yes, there's a bug in my PC. Every now and again I turn into a robot. We're gonna try and not worry about that too much, because I have no idea how to deal with it. Let's see. So we're gonna run through some of these things. We're gonna do a quick recap, but I'm gonna try and keep it shorter than it was last time. And let me go and make sure I can have some stuff to show you here in front of me. In the interim, as we're getting started, feel free to ask your non-related questions now, because we're not going to have time to get to them once I get started. Once I put the headset on. If there's anything you want to get off your chest, but I think we're at 29,000 subs right now, so I think me and AB are going to get on stream hopefully soon, and do a Q&A in celebration of the 30,000 subs if we do get there, which it would be incredible. I don't know what to do with that. That's sort of, it's been insane being on this end of the camera and seeing the insane amount of love that we're getting from all of you folks. So thanks so much for tuning in. The background is blue. Yes, it's the blue background. On a scale of 1 to 13, how excited am I for the new Monster Manual? Ludicrously. I have not had time to watch all those streams with Jay Craw and Schneider, but I am the ones I watched have made me very excited. It seems like they are leveling up their whole design game, and they're taking on board a lot of feedback, which, I love to see it. I have played Eberron once, Peppino. It was a lot of fun. I have since, and before, I've stolen concepts from it. Kitchen sink style, you take everything, you put it in the game you like, mix it all together, have a good time. Yes, I am Icelandic. Hang on, these are dirty glasses. Now is not the time for me to get distracted by how to clean my glasses. But it is that time anyway. Let me text Eva and see if I can get some room service, so I don't have to leave you all. Let me then put up here a map, just so we do a very quick recap of what the hell is going on in the adventure. D&D salad bar. Take what you want and leave the rest. Yeah, exactly. I think there's loads of cool stuff in Eberron, and the only thing I'm not a fan of in terms of taste is just the they have, like, everyone's got gunslingers and guns, but it's all wands, and I'm like, I just wish it were guns. And the same with the trains. Everyone's got trains. They've got, like, magic crystal train tracks. I think it's awesome. I wish it were steam locomotives. So in my setting, that's I got inspired by it, but then I made it my own, and then I get to play that the way I like to. What's my favorite monster category? Aberrations. Aberrations, probably. Yeah. I love all the weird, the mind flayers, the beholders, all of that stuff. Hang on. So we're gonna have a look at map. This is my current, most up-to-date version of the map on my wall. The map on my wall. Hang on, glasses are being delivered. Yes? Tack, Kalle. Ivar's not allowed to watch the stream because he's gonna play the adventure that we're writing. So he has to plug his ears, and then he's still kind enough to give me some glasses cleaner. Will Gregory, thanks so much for coming on board. Thanks for becoming a member. Listen, everybody, if you get to be a channel member, you'll get access to our Discord, where you can join and talk to fellow nerds, fellow channel members, about whatever they're up to. And everybody's talking about advice. We've got a whole channel on Obsidian these days, where people are talking about how to organize their Obsidian layouts. They're sharing their graphs as they sort of come into existence, which is kind of spectacular to see that people are getting really into the idea of creating nodes and doing these sort of small section prep at a time. They can do a little article and then move on. Now we're talking. This is proper. Aha! I have vision. All right, let's look at the map. Enough yapping. This is the map. How did I make that map? This isn't Photoshop, sadly. I wish I could recommend you some kind of tool that gets you this look, but this is in Photoshop over the course of a long time. But I do use some brushes, and it's not as complicated as it looks. So one day I'll make a video about that. The map on my wall is not like this. This one is slightly different because I keep updating it, because you are never done, right? You're always building, rebuilding, and revisiting your stuff and playing around with new ideas. So you stick them on, you play with them, you futz around with them. And what's happening in this adventure is the Atroxian Empire, during the last war, this big purple blob over here, is invading Venkara, which is this continent over there. They are landing their troops in Marek shores. They have taken the city of Glamara. I'm sorry about that squeak. They've taken the city of Glamara, and the 6th and 7th Division of the army is preparing to attack the capital of Orgard, but they cannot make any progress. So they're going to have to move up this river. The river is controlled by Riverlock, and the Navy, the 4th Fleet, is going to sail up this riverlock and take care of the dwarven defenses, but they cannot get past the fortification at the start. Right? The Velatros River Lock. Velatros is the name of the river. We named it last stream. Or the stream before? We named it on one of these streams. The Velatros River Lock is a big fortification, and the heroes are Atroxian, that's the purple blob, Atroxian special forces who are being sent into this river lock to go clear it out, to take it over. This will then allow the 4th Fleet to sail up the river lock, blow up fortifications, and allow the 6th and 7th Division to take the Star Bastion that is guarding the river lock. And as a result of all of that, the Atroxians can begin to invade the enemy-allied Venkaran nation. I think that all makes sense. Feel free to ask any questions about that. This here is my obsidian right now. It is big blob. Don't worry about the blob. Whole bunch of stuff. And I've got many tabs open because I was in the middle of prepping last time I used this, and Obsidian just opens all the tabs you last had open. This is a spoiler for our moderators, so I'm not going to look at that. And we are going to find Operation Short Fuse. And here we are. This is the document we created last time. It's 1,500 words, which if past experiences are anything to go by, it's going to get a little bit longer today. So I'm going to put on some focus music. I have some kind of gremlin in my brain that makes me not want to do things unless they are a routine and unique at the same time. So I need stimulus all the time. Otherwise, I go insane. And one of those stimuli is this bit of focus music I use, which was introduced to me by Magnus, who is one of our moderators in chat right now. Glamara is another city. Yeah. What is the name of the Riverlock Bastion? We have not named it. It is just called a Star Bastion at the moment. Yeah, so last time we did an outline, we got 6 sessions down here. Session 1 is called the Velatros Riverlock. Maybe that's just the name. I don't know. We could give it a strong dwarven name. Then we have this search and destroy. We used FPS levels as a metaphor for everything we did. So these are search and destroy the mech. Session 3, the chain breakers. This is about revolutionaries. Session 4 is about this onomancer who's discovered the name of the Unmaker. What is the Unmaker? Finding their way to the tower, the blighted tower, the heroes will go into this sort of dungeon crawl, and then there is the battle against the Unmaker itself, or the people trying to release it. The Dwarven King, hang on, not Thanaton, Ulbrich, and the Undead King, Thanaton, who is protecting it. As you can see, this here is several paragraphs about what happens in a given session. This is 250 words. This one here is 121. And I said this at the end of the last stream, I'm going to repeat it right now. If push came to shove, that is enough. You don't need more to run a session. You really don't. But I like prepping. I like typing things down in Obsidian. I like seeing them sort of trickle along. I like having stuff in front of me. And the reason why is very simple. I get relaxed knowing that if anything comes up, I have something else I can whip up, right? Or whip out or whatever, right? You know, if I'm getting sidetracked by all the stuff the players want to do and I'm freaking out in my head, a good session prep document is kind of like a comfortable little blankie. I can go and I can snuggle up against it and I can go, what did past Daði think? You know, what did past Daði think what did that past Daði think what this session was about? And then we consult past Daði by reading the notes. Rob Human asks, has my approach to Obsidian changed at all since the multitude of Discord discussions? I tried Calendarium. I've got it installed now. And I might make a video on my calendar and how I made it and how I put it into Calendarium at some point. The only bump I ran into is that I then opened this on my laptop and it wasn't there. And I'm assuming there's something simple, I just haven't figured out. But I was distracted by a Bumblebee, and now I'm here, live. Mossy Antler says, don't whip it out on camera. Listen, the more I listen to Grant, the better a person I am on the internet. Thanks. Everybody, listen, if you need more quality D&D advice in your life, Grant from Mossy Antler has criminally few subscribers. Go check out his channel and watch what he has to say. His video on smart prep is especially good. It's a good place to start, then check out the rest. How do I do, Lucy Rowe asks, how do you do the little indent with a purple line for the quotes? You can highlight a paragraph, right click, paragraph, quote. You can also add a little arrow, and there it is. I'm going to have a little bit of caffeine. That's when I click the mute button. You know, people tell you you're not supposed to have caffeine at 8 o'clock. But I don't listen to people. Cave Game says I didn't want to use too many plugins. I would just end up making World Anvil and getting stuck again. Yeah, a lot of the value of Obsidian for me is the simplicity. So if it turns out the Calendarium steals time away from me instead of giving it back, I cut it, delete it, don't need it. All right, so what do we do? Hang on, session 1. The Velatros River Walk. What I could do, what I do sometimes when I'm prepping adventures like this, I don't want it all to be one document, so what I do is I go in here and I click, I just go sessions, and then I make a special article for session, or I might call it Operation Short Fuse number 1, Velatros Riverlock. If you were paying attention, you saw that I have an article on opium. Don't worry about it. You know what? Let's do it that way. Just because we're doing a stream, let's do it like I would do if this were a long adventure. If this were a short adventure, I'd probably just stick my session prep notes in here. No, listen. I think the value of a short adventure is that I would just stick them in here. Strakes, welcome. Nice to see more members. And same with you. Hang on, who joined earlier? Travis, nice to see you. It's definitely the wrong mic. Is it? Listen, if I poke this thing, is that doing anything? I don't know that it can be the wrong mic. Hang on. All right, let's do an audio quick fix real quick. This should be the NVIDIA broadcast. This is this microphone right now. This what you folks want to do? We can do this. Hang on. And this is the webcam mic right now. This is the NVIDIA broadcast mic. Very quiet. Oh God, hang on. Yeah, I had a gain filter on there. How's this? Hello, hello. Never supposed to touch the mics when you go live. It's dangerous. Sounds small and distant. Sometimes I feel small and distant. Alright, so that's the gain on the NVIDIA broadcast mic. Now if you check, this is the NVIDIA broadcast mic. I can go show you again what the webcam sounds like, so you can hear the difference. This is the broadcast. This is the webcam mic. I assume those are different. We can go check out what broadcast says. Make sure it's got the right microphone selected. Ooh. Let's try that. Yeah, alright, hang on. Hang on. Alright. Magnus, the producer, is telling me to stop fucking around. Yeah, I believe that's you all getting the that's you all getting the mic when it clicked. It should be good now. So, Operation Short Fuse. I also just call it Short Fuse 1. Electros block. I could even be so brazen as to just put this. I'm going to put this in the trash. Here. And that should be good. Forget the mic, says T-Villain. Yes, you're right, I should. This is exactly the kind of stuff that sidetracks me. Yeah, you're entirely correct, P-Quicks. The very audible keyboard. I'm sorry, I like my keyboard clicky. You're all gonna have to live with it. Session number 1, Velatro server lock. Now let's go get our friend session prep format. I don't know how to make templates, and I'm told it's very easy, and I, like an old dog, am refusing to learn new tricks. This is my session prep format. So when I'm preparing a session, I do a lot of breakdowns. I do a lot of subheaders. I do a lot of making sure everything is exactly perfect. And I like to get really into the weeds of things, but a lot of the times I don't end up using a lot of it. I don't end up needing all of it. So we just sort of play around with it. And we're gonna see how that works. Alright, people are happy with the mics. Now there is a thing we're gonna do later in this stream. I'm gonna tell you a story about crackers, like you have at parties. But in the interim, let's go prep a session. That's something to look forward to. Session description. We've already written it. It is this bit. You know you're well and truly rolling on a campaign when you find yourself copy-pasting and getting just sort of brazenly copy-paste heavy on it. It's usually when I start to relax. Hi, Michael. Welcome. I'm glad you could catch us too. Let's see. In session description, I try to like it shorter than this anyway, so I'm going to rewrite it. Writing is rewriting. I should turn down how loud. I should turn down how loud Discord is. There we go. Do not disturb. Aha. 0 loud. Do I find myself linking to headings? Tempo asks. Only occasionally. I try not to bother that much. There we go. Done. This is the session prep document. Somebody's asking for the template or a way to get it. It is available on the Obsidian Discord channel for members who are part of the Discord. There is nothing exciting in here, though. There is an introduction with my table rules. There's a link at the top to an irrelevant at the moment campaign, but we could make it link back to Operation Short Fuse. And then it's got this little bit, which is a header 3 with some text in it, and then the rest is just header 2s and header 4s. It doesn't have to be much more complicated than that. And here's the trick. Here's the real secret of the template. I know I don't need all this, so I'm just gonna start deleting. The only reason this exists is not so I can fill it out. It's so that I don't have to click hashtag 4 times every now and again. That's it. Here is the opening monologue, and this opening monologue is the one I use in my Everlasting campaign, which is my Kingmaker Everlasting, my main game. We're not going to use it for this, so we're going to need to replace this with new opening blurb. Steam friendly. Oh, did I get a thing from Steam? Hang on, we'll close that. Wow, there we go. Whichever one of my friends is about to get doxxed. No, I'm kidding. Why is this misbehaving? There we go. And then summarize, and then place. Next Monday, spoiler alert, everybody. Koi, welcome to the channel. Wow, that's loud. I'm sorry. I clipped. Welcome to the channel, Koi. Thanks so much for joining. We're happy to have you aboard. Love to see it. Next Monday, the video that we're gonna make is gonna be about how to start your D&D game. How to go from we're all sitting around a table to we're starting playing. And one of the things I'm gonna talk about in that video is how I structure an opening monologue. This is a bit of a spoiler because we wanted to stream, so here we are. Three elements. 3 elements, that's it. You know how I like to talk in numbers? Anyway. You start with your hook, your opening blurb. This is too gainy. Too many gains. Too many gains. Can I put... It's called a noise gate, isn't it? Listen. I don't know what a noise gate is. I'm just gonna lower the gain a little. Lower the gain a little bit. And move it a little bit further away from me. And hope that does the trick. Hope that does the trick. 3 elements. Number 1, we put in a hook. The hook is the same line every time. It's a bit of Pavlovian trickery we're going to deploy to get our players to remember, we're about to play D&D. Number 2, summarize how we got here. Now, if this is your 5th session, you just say what happened in the last few sessions. If this is your 1st session, you need to do a bit of work. Number 3, you place the characters. You take them from the nebulous genre, nebulous vibe of we're about to play D&D, and you go, you are here. And you put them in the world. When last we left off. Exactly, Zamru, you get it. Then we're going to have to break this down. So step 1 of any bit of writing you ever do is outlines. And I've written scripts without outlines. I've just started, typed along until I had a point. That's how I wrote today's video. You can do it. It is okay. But when you do that, you end up rewriting it way more. When I wrote today's video, we rewrote it 7 times, I think. I was very unhappy with it for a long time. So what is important when you're writing is that you create a structure for you to follow, because you can also shuffle the structure around. As you create the structure, you can see the flaws before you start getting lost in the weeds of who this NPC's granddaughter was. So what we want to do is we want to just make, Dan, we want to make bullet points. We want to say what is happening in the adventure. So the reason I have my game like this, you can see here, chapter, scene, chapter, scene. The reason I have chapter headers in here, because I want to tell myself, at this part of the session, what is my job? And typically for me, I tend to think of sessions as being in 2 chapters. Before we take a break and after we take a break, because I always put a break somewhere in the middle. I could think that this session basically has 2 chapters. Chapter 1 is the blah blah. Chapter 2 is the pew pew. Yeah, Rob. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. I literally play the War Rooms, which is so inspired by the West Wing. Previously on the West Wing, when you fade up for black, I really do that. Yeah, Dan, exactly. You build up, boop, 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 boop. You build up, da 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 da. You're always raising the stakes, and then you cut it off. There is a phrase used in filmmaking. I'm certain some of you are going to be familiar with this, but it's called "meanwhile" back at the farm. And what you do is you build up one part of the story, and then it gets tense. And then you say "meanwhile" back at the farm, and you cut to the other part of the story, and it builds. Tick, 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 and it gets tense, and you go "meanwhile" back at the other farm, right? And you do that same thing with structure. Right, so you start a session and you build it, take a break, and then you come back, and then everyone's tense to get back into it, and you build it, cliffhanger. Right? So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to have 2 parts, blah blah, and pew pew. Eventually, I will give these evocative names, but at the start, all I know is this is the bit where we talk, and this is the bit where we pew pew. You're absolutely right. Do we do the West Wing break now? No, let's do a little bit more prep, and then we can talk about the West Wing. I'm going to talk about the West Wing, everybody, in a bit. The briefing. Zamru, yeah, you're right. Absolutely. One of these is the briefing. I don't think the briefing is the chapter. That would imply that we are going to be doing the briefing for 2 hours. I don't think we're gonna. I put the briefing here at the top. I don't think it's the first thing we do. Now, this is the part where we do our kitchen sink stealing. We go grab things. Hey, Nick. Hey, welcome along. Thanks so much for joining. We want to start stealing, right? So what we do is we think, we go, okay, hang on. This is a war movie. It's a bunch of expeditionary force, Marines, Vietnam, helicopters. You know what I mean? Fortunate Son. So before the briefing, we have showing up. I don't know what that's like. Bit of a colder open with them being right on the reconnoitre. Matty Ice. Hi, welcome. Thanks so much for joining. Dwarf A-Team. Need to introduce the character somewhere. Giannis is back. Giannis, thanks so much for coming back. You were on fire last time, so I think you're absolutely right. Again, we need to introduce the characters. Somewhere along the way, we need to introduce these characters. So now we reveal the trickery that has taken place. There's been a little bit of trickery. You see what I'm doing? I say trickery and then I leave you thinking, what's he talking about? Or you're just bored and you check out. Maybe it doesn't work. That's fine. In between now and last time, most of the characters have made most of the players have made characters. They're not done, but they're basically done. I don't know too much about what they're playing, but we can go look at this graph here. Commander, Lieutenant, Brawler. See, I think if this were one of my Metropolitan murder mysteries, my gut would be to introduce these characters all individually. We do one of them, we do a little scene, not a long one, I'm talking like 5 minutes, maybe 10, but we cut to them, we see what they're up to, then we cut to somewhere else. But these are the players' characters and they're showing up as a team, so I don't know if that's going to work. Abercent, welcome. Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining. What level are the PCs? The PCs they're high level. They're 11th level. All the PCs are 11th level. They're all heroes. They're all legendary. Hey, Matthew. Hey, I'm happy I can help. Slow motion walk through the camp to the main tent. Yeah, I think that's basically what showing up is, right? One last job. That's fun. I don't know if that works. It might work for one of these characters. So I think there is introduce the characters. I think it has to be a moment where we have somebody say something to the characters where they get a little moment to decide how to roleplay, right? We give them a stage. Giannis asks, maybe Daði could ask the players to prepare short scene descriptions in that vein. Yeah. Then have you watched Generation Kill? In Generation Kill, we meet the characters sort of across camp, and they're all like talking shit to each other. DM with a day job, yeah. Random encounter, nothing to do with the rest of the adventure. See, I'm nervous that if I do that, I like the idea. I'm nervous that if I do that, they will not be able to do the first mission in the first session. I am a big proponent of pacing, and if I think I could get away with it, I'd go for it. If we could think of a combat that was quick to do, but also fun and not that scary. And we could do it in 20, 30 minutes, no map. Then maybe. Introducing the PCs to the NPCs. Yes, Grant. Yeah, I suppose. It could also be introducing the PCs to the other PCs. They have made their characters together. They've all had a look at each other's character sheets and stuff, I assume. But they haven't had an opportunity to just, like, roleplay. So this would be... Sorry, the PCs. Get the PCs to know the other PCs. A lot of times I'll put these up front and I'll do little vignettes with everybody. Coming in hot of a previous mission. Yeah. I think somewhere in here there is a general... butt face. That one's PG. We have to meet a military commander we don't like. A Troxian military commander who's what in England they would call an Oxbridge twat. He's finely educated, he's proper, he's posh, and the players would probably dislike him. Cascade style cutscene that goes through each character specialization briefly. Start with the two baddies talking, then ask the sniper to make an attack roll. Yes, that's what we do. That's what we do. Boom, head explodes. Yeah. No, Michael's got it. That's how you introduce it. It's not a fight. It's just a cutscene. But they get to roll the dice and the damage. They get to get little sort of cut tos. That's awesome. Let's do that. It's the previous op. At the top. So, right now we've just got these terms, and they're these sort of vague, if you don't live inside my head, you might not know what I'm thinking with each of them. That's okay. That's okay. Then, in the pew-pew section, there are a handful of things I need to write down. The difference between prepping blah-blah sections for me and pew-pew sections is that in the blah blah section, I'm often thinking linearly. I'm thinking roughly, it is this, then this, then this, then this. In the pew pew section, I'm often thinking, what are the challenges and how do I structure them? And the reason I do it like this is because I am a big believer, and I've talked about this Listen, one of these days, I'm going to learn how to do streaming. All right, you with me now? Great. All right. Yes, I'm a big believer in, thank you, Magnus. I'm a big believer in, and we've talked about this before, the difference between setup and gameplay. your players, they show up to play D&D, and they are immediately, even if they're not consciously thinking this, they are subconsciously thinking, what is tonight's game about? What are we doing? What is the goal of tonight? Because they wanna make sure they do it. Because if they do, they can go home and feel like they did something, right? We're all playing D&D for a certain kind of fantasy fulfillment. So they want to go home and they want to go, we did a thing. Yes. You know what I mean? So So I'm a big believer in the difference between setup and gameplay, right? When they show up, I am all right and everybody's okay if I spend an hour or two linearly going from A to B, literally just asking them to roleplay, giving them the stage, and then I back off. I let them talk. I don't, hamstring them, but I go then, okay, and then this happens, and okay, and then this happens, and I run through this kind of linear setup. Because after the break, I have no idea what's going to happen. That is the promise. I am setting them up, and throughout the setup, I say things like, I don't know if you should do A or B or C. I don't know what's going to happen if A happens. I don't know what's going to happen if B happens. But I know what's going to happen if C happens. And then they go, okay, let's avoid C. Do we do A or B? And then they play the game. This is not railroading. This is setup and payoff, right? Railroading is if I don't let them have this chunk. And I just set up, and then I set them all home. And then I set up, and I set them all home, right? So in order to give your players catharsis, you have to set them up, and then let them play the game. And here anything can happen. So when we structure an adventure like this, we have one chunk of it, which is linear from A to B to C to D. We have another chunk, which we just need to sort of figure out what is the game. Hey Val, Corkboard and Curiosities, everybody, go check him out. Val is a fellow Dungeon Trooper, and yeah, you should always name your scenes Pew Pew if you can. Val's amazing. You all should go check out Val's content too. Matty Ice, is option C more often than not the do nothing option? Yeah. The best way, this is bonus tip. The best way to motivate your players is to say, in 2 hours, in game, in 2 hours, X will happen and we will all die. The players will then go, okay, why don't you not do X? And they go, we cannot not do X. We must do X. And they go, okay. Why? You explain. They go, can we do A? And you go, maybe. Can we do B? And you go, maybe. Both sound difficult. And the players are like, we do difficult things. We could do that difficult thing easy. Then you sit back and let them prove you wrong and them right. That's what D&D is about. So, we are looking at, this is our setup here. To invade the rest of Venkar, the Atroxian forces need to capture the Velatros River Lock for long enough for the 4th Fleet to get into position. They cannot do this, as the aerial turret defense system, the axial turret defense system, will destroy any approaching units. The expeditionary group must sneak into the base, capture the lock, and in one moment open the lock and capture the axial turret. 2 things, and you must do both. Doing either too soon will raise the alarm sooner and buy time for the Venkarns to deploy the gyrocopter reinforcements. So, if we get this text and we temporarily just stick it here into Pew Pew, and put that into quotes and see, there you go. stick it into Pew Pew. You can see we have a handful of keywords here we need to define. Axial turret. There's this base, the Star Bastion, gyrocopter reinforcements, hold the lock-in turret. In movie production, this is called breaking the scene or breaking the script. What you do is you look at the script and you find all the things you need, right? This is done in production design. When you look at a scene, you say, Jeff picks up his pistol, Timmy picks up his glasses. You go, okay, I need a pistol, I need glasses, I need Jeff, Jimmy. That is who is in the scene. That's how you structure it. So, we have broken these concepts down. We've written them down here. What do? Well, this is very simple. You're not going to believe this. Axial turret. Star Bastion. Gyro, copter, there's a T in copter. Reinforcements. Hold the fort. We're going to put an extra one here, which is next hook. This is what it is, right? You got it, Rob. That's what it's about. This is what it is, right? There's this axial turret that they have to destroy. So now that we've done this, I'm actually going to make this into another chapter. This is the Pew Pew section. We're going to call it the Bellatrose River block. Sorry, Pew Pew has been killed, Val. I'm sorry. And we're going to summarize these here at the top so I can delete this text and get it out of my face. The axial turret makes it impossible for the Atroxian army to advance on the base. In order for the army to take the base, the turret must be destroyed or under Atroxian control. It will still be Pew Pew in our hearts. Damn right. Star Bastion. Yes, Magnus, you're right. You're right. I'll get to it. Star Bastion. Hang on. The Star Bastion controls the river lock. Now I'm checking the text here. In order to open the lock. So no, hang on. The Atroxian Navy, so remember there are two elements, so there are two problems, therefore two solutions. The Atroxian Navy cannot provide reinforcements unless they can enter the river lock. Hang on, let's tag it. Bellatrose river lock. The lock is controlled from the control room inside the Star Bastion. control room. Right? Gyrocopter reinforcements. Captain. Gyrocopter reinforcements. If either the turret, let's capitalize these. Let's use the full term. So if either one is destroyed while the other one is under enemy control, they can raise the alarm. Flying from a nearby Vankaran airbase. I think what they're doing is they're going from the other, because the lock, it's a river, and there's a bastion on one side, and then I think there's an airbase on the other one. Nearby from, so let's say from the airbase on the other side of the lock. Hang on. Rob's sending messages, and I fear he may be cooking. Let's see what he's talking about. It occurs to me if I were a smart Vankaran general, I would probably know that this is the linchpin, the control rooms, that they would have no choice but to take the locks. I wonder if I'd let them. Imagine the Navy would be quite vulnerable when bottlenecked in the locks, even if the Atroxian control the locks. That's fun. Diego, welcome to the channel. Hi, welcome. Alright. We've been streaming for an hour. I want to tell you a little story. I'm a big fan of a show called The West Wing. We were talking about it earlier. And there is a moment in that show where a reporter named Daði Concannon has been crushing on the White House press secretary, C.J. Craig. And he is trying to get an in with her. And she's crushing on him, but she can't. It's professional, you know, classic TV drama. And he's trying to get an in with her, and unrelated to that, he's the White House is doing some. They've got some big issue trying to pick a Supreme Justice for a shortlist, and Daði gives Josh some advice, and in return for that advice, Josh says,
CJ likes goldfish.
What?
She likes goldfish. Can't get enough of them.
Thanks.
And we then continue watching the episode, and sometime later, in the episode, Daði shows up at CJ's office, and they talk for a bit until CJ says,
What are you holding? It's goldfish.
Why?
It's for you.
Really?
Josh said you like goldfish.
The crackers, Danny. The cheese things that you have at a party.
Oh. You know what? I'm not 100% sure I was supposed to know that.
The crackers, Danny.
Well, fine. Now I gotta go fish.
And I related so much to the confusion on Danny's face because I am Icelandic. And goldfish is not a type of cracker that's sold in this country. So when CJ explains it, they cut back to Danny, and he's got this dumbfounded look on his face. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, I'm with you, man. And then he understands what she's talking about, and I'm like, oh, maybe there's this popular kind of American cracker I'm unaware of. And then I went grocery shopping today. And look! They have it! I've never tried these, so I opened it and I wanted to try a goldfish on stream. Because that's content, I suppose. Good stuff. It barely tastes. There's a vague hint of cheese in there. Well, this does nothing for me. CJ does not have taste. Anyway. Kronan coming in clutch. Yeah. Yes, you're right. Which flavor did I get? This is no artificial flavors. And they're sort of warping through time and space. Don't worry about it. Always baked with ingredients you can feel good about. That's vague. Baked snack crackers. I don't know if I can say those out loud on stream. AB told me to get the cheddar ones, and I didn't listen because I don't like cheddar flavored things. I like cheddar fine, I just don't like cheddar flavored things. Yeah, it's got a little bit of salt on it, and that's about it. I think I'd get the same sort of flavor if I just dipped my finger in salt. Anyway, let's carry on. What happens? For how long do they need to hold the fort? I don't know yet. R.I.P. Gale. Yeah, apparently the set designer said they had 3 Gales on the show. Alright, so we've defined our terms. Hang on. Let's get these in here. We've defined our terms. Gyrocopter reinforcements. Axial turret to take down gyrocopters. Let's make sure that that is in here. Why do I repeat these details so much? It's because I like having them at my fingertips. So I like the idea that if I look down on my sheet, I'm going to have the correct number. The vanilla cram cracker, Magnus, actually has taste in it. This, listen, when you come over tomorrow for D&D, I'm going to let you taste these, vaguely, a bit of wheat that looked at some salt for a while. I'm sorry, they're fine. They're not that bad. Approximately how big is the fleet? It's massive. The fleet is probably something like 30 or 40 ships, and it might be a total of 1,500 guns, cannons. The 6th and 7th Division are probably 20,000 troops. The gyrocopter reinforcements are much smaller. I think they're not enough to deal with the army, but they're enough to deal with the heroes. So what we're doing here is we have this conceit that one layer of the story is armies fighting armies, and the players they can't engage this level. They can help by providing an opportunity by playing the adventure. But if the players then run into the army, they die. They cannot They cannot live when 20,000 dwarves try to throw a javelin at them. Don't work. So there's one layer, armies, and the second layer, skirmish, and that's where our game happens. Is AB here? No, AB's at band practice. I'm trying. The reason I'm streaming today, and it's upload day on Monday, but the reason I'm streaming today is because there's a lot of background noise if she's in the background, and she has a night a week where she goes off to do rehearsal, and I figured that I'd try and stream when she's not in the apartment. But that means streaming on upload day, so maybe we're gonna move upload day. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. It is uncertain and promised to no one. So this section is pew pew. We're not there yet. We'll get there. I'm not worried. Stress level 0. Blah blah blah. All right, Magnus. Two characters talking. The brawler and who did you say? The brawler and the medic. Brawler and the lieutenant. Now I'm scrolling up chat. I think it's just easier, Magnus. If you just could you repeat who you suggested talks here in this scene? Showing up. Ethan Tosley, that's a super thanks. Thanks so much, Ethan. That's really appreciated. Thank you. If you love The West Wing, Aaron Sorkin also made the Newsroom, which is fantastic. I as well, similar show, but running an SNL called Studio 60. Anyway, love the streams and channel. I'm a huge Aaron Sorkin fan. I have watched Newsroom probably 3 times, and Studio 60 probably 3 times, and West Wing probably 5. I have those things running in the background. The way he writes dialogue is like music, and it does something to my brain. It soothes it. Who's in Newsroom? Jeff Daniels plays the lead. He's a newscaster who's a sort of no-nonsense Republican, but they accuse him of being a rhino Republican in name only because he criticizes the party a whole bunch in the show, and it's kind of fascinating to watch. It's also got Olivia Munn and Emily Proctor. No, hang on, that's she's on West Wing. Hang on, what's her name? Amazing actress, Emily Mortimer. Alison Pill, Jason Sadowski, Dev Patel. It's amazing. It's a spectacular show. And then Studio 60 is Matthew Perry and Bradley Whitford, which is also incredible. CJ even shows up. Have you seen Sports Night? No, it's got a laugh track, and for some reason that means I haven't given it a go yet. Are these comedians? Matthew Perry? Matthew Perry is the funniest person to exist around the noughties. Yeah. Just some baddies talking. Oh, that's fair. That's fair. We could do that. Sniper, brawler. Alright. If this still doesn't make sense, that's fine. That's the purpose of outlining. The goal is that we sort of write almost like it's agile, if you're familiar with that kind of production jargon, right? We do a bit, we write, and we do a bit, and we write, and we do a bit, and we write. And this way, we never encounter the big empty page. Right now, with previous op, all I've done is taken something Magnus has said, Obviously, if you don't have Magnus and you're not live, then this is a little more challenging. But that's where Chasing Oblivion comes from. If you watched our How to Prep video, and you think about something, you stick it in there, and you just move on. On your mark, this is I want the lieutenant or commander. So I'm gonna wink one of them beforehand. And I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna cue you up, and when I do, you have to say on your mark. Right? That's it. That's all I'm gonna tell them. But then it's gonna create a whole show. Then showing up, the expedition company walks through the huge military war camp. They see the scale of the Atroxian war machine. Scrum Master. That's me. If my producer heard you right now, she would be cackling. Sour Dragon, that's the best excuse to leave. Have fun. I hope your day goes nicely too. Meet with. Actually, first they have to meet General Buttface. We can't get anywhere before we meet General Buttface. My stomach is getting a little upset, and I'm wondering whether it's the crackers or the late night caffeine. I'm gonna blame the crackers because they're new, and my stomach has never been upset before. Introduce the characters. That's gone. We're doing that in the first scene. We don't need that. The briefing. Magnus just sent me the thing we wrote earlier. I'm putting it in here. Someone. I'm going to deploy a little trick here I do quite frequently. What I like to do is I like to, if I introduce a character that is gonna have sort of an adverse effect on the players, I also like getting them out of the way fairly soon. So if in this case they're going to meet General Buttface, I think I know this guy's name, but I'm gonna have to look a couple of things up, and I might have to do it off screen because Magnus is in chat, or maybe he just has to avert his eyes for a bit. And then I'm gonna need some underling of his that we can like to explain the plot, or not. It's a give and take. So if General Buttface, I think this is gonna be Major General Horace, no? Everett Burnside. I think that's this guy's name. I think Burnside's gonna give this brief. So hang on, I'm not saying any thoughts. I'm thinking too much to be also streaming. So the thing I'm grappling with here. Yeah, I can't explain this until I go look a thing up. So Magnus, you're gonna have to avert your gaze while I go type in some words. No looking. Yeah, okay. So, Magnus, you're allowed to look again. So, here's the thing. He suggested this to me. I didn't want him to see exactly what my notes say. So, the thing is, I've been running this game in some shape or form since 2015, early 2015. And the thing is, I make characters all the time, and I introduce them, I name drop them. Sometimes I just have one character mention another character, and then I write it down in Obsidian, and I say this person exists. And then I continue to do this until it reaches sort of a critical mass, and we now need to go deal with who this character is. J-Dude Rear Admiral Buttface is a different character. He becomes president later and likes cowboy books. That's a joke for my players. This is Major General Buttface. Everett Burnside is a character that I've mentioned now a handful of times and has sort of shown up periodically, but I know he is not with the not with the 6th or 7th Division. So, what we're going to do is there are 2 Major Generals. Major General Everett Burnside. I don't need this. And now we're just typing. No, he is Major General. Stand by. Stand by. Let's get it right, otherwise I have to rewrite it. Alright, we need a name of an Atroxian Major General. We need 2 actually. I just want last names. I want them to sound posh and like British aristocracy. Thompson? That's not bad. Jack, Jim. Let's get a first name on him. I'm not going to believe it unless there's a first name, even though I'm never going to say it. Tales from Elsewhere. Peter's here. Everybody go check out Tales from Elsewhere. God, there's so many Dungeon Tubers. It's kind of incredible. These people are all amazing. It's spectacular. August Farrington. Hey, that's really good. That's really good. We're gonna listen. Thompson's still gonna be in here. Gerald. No, I've got a Gerald. Hugh. Jacob. Thank you, Lou. Major General Jacob Thompson of the 7th Division. I'm not going to have the whole thing here. I'm just going to go like that. Listen, if you get stuck in format, like I do all the time, just remember the rule number 1 of format is make it obvious what you're doing. Doesn't have to be the same, just clear. No, Giannis, you have some of the best suggestions. They're incredible. And then you come in here with huge jazz. Like I'm not going to notice. You got to step up your game, Giannis. That's not going to work. This doesn't fly. So Buttface isn't his actual name. It is Burnside. Gerald! I believe there are suddenly more people in the room. Listen, me and Rob are bonding on a level the non-West Wing watchers in here are never going to get. So, the command tent. Right? Sometimes you get inspired and then you have to stop and you just have to type the damn thing because otherwise you can't move on. And this is that. In order for me to believe in this adventure, I need to place it in the last war, which is a complicated mess of canon. And like I was saying, I've been running this since 2015. I know so many of these characters, and so many of these characters have shown up. They have done things. They've been in places. So I need to believe that whatever's happening is happening. I need to place it in the canon. So I need to know what is the context of what's going on. Otherwise, I cannot believe in it. And if you're doing something that is never going to be visible to the players, but you need to do it so that you believe in it, that's worth it. Because you believing in it makes you excited about it, and that makes you able to sell it to the rest of the players. And I don't think it's a command tent. I don't think we're in tents. I think we're in Glamara, aren't we? So, yeah. We gotta name this Capitol building, Dwarven Capitol building. Let's start calling them the group. I think it's a palace. No, I think it's like a dwarven. It's a dwarven kingdom. You know, throne something. Now I'm on. I should show this. I'm on Thesaurus. The best Saurus. Palace. Alcazar. Hold. Yes. It's a hold of some kind. Safe hold. Stronghold? Safe hold. Safe hold sounds cool. Yeah. Let's hold that. Do I need that extra bit of thing? I don't know yet. Sometimes I just put things down. You know, if you're being too holy with it, you never get anything done. They have thanes up here, right? They have thanes. So what do the Atraxians do when they show up? They take the most defensible building, they find the tyrant that was occupying it, and they string him up. And listen, that was a good point to put in here. Group. Try not to say the players. I don't know why I don't like saying the players in these documents. I don't know what that is, but nothing wrong with it. I just don't. Sometimes I'll do a paragraph like this and I'll bold Thane of Marek or whatever it is so that when I'm looking at the sheet, I can see at a glance, oh, Thane of Marek. Tom Garcia, thank you so much. I can like this. I like this. Thanks, Tom. Maybe he was nice, right? The players are going to say the same thing. They're going to go, how do you know he was a tyrant? Anyone want to name a Dwarven Thane? what's the general story we're writing at the moment? So we did a little recap at the start, but we can do a little recap right now. There's a couple of more people watching. This is an adventure. The goal of this adventure, they're playing in the middle of this thing called The Last War, and they're all playing, the player characters playing special forces operatives, and they have shown up here in order to help the army get unstuck, trying to unseat this tyrant of this frankly gross dictatorial tyranny that is currently going on in this continent of Venkara, which is this continent right here on the world map. It may even be visible in a video of ours in the background, but I don't know. So they're in here, they're trying to get from this city to that city, and they can't because there's stuff in the way. And session number 1 is, how do we undo the stuff? Kazakh Rogar. That's good. Thanks. Good job, Luke. The Thane, Kazakh Rogar, was a tyrant. 37 bodies were taken. 37 hanged corpses were taken down by the Atroxians. And replaced Rogar. He was a bad guy. There used to be a hyperspace tycoon, but they've taken them back. In that war room, Major General Everett Burnside of the 1st Division of the Atroxian Army is meeting with the 2 Major Generals. I'm going to say 2 young Major Generals in charge of this operation. No, in charge of this theater. Right? Theater war. There. Major General August Farrington and Major General Jacob Thompson are relying on Burnside's seniority. Clickety clickety clack. Did I, Tyler Twin Oaks asks, did I just post a bunch of different maps together to make the world map? No, I drew this in Photoshop. The borders are different because they are different levels of detail. So that is how I indicate to myself which areas are detailed and which are not. Is any of my obsidian public? No, I'm afraid not. Channel members have access to the session prep doc, and that's it. This is it's very personal to me. I'm okay with sharing bits of it and talking about it, but a lot of this I get a little I don't know, anxious about putting all my stuff out there. So no, I'm sorry. I wish I could give you another answer. So the players are going to walk into this room. They're going to find one general is kind of just telling the other 2 what to do. Burnside is here on behalf of the 1st Division, which is in the Arid at this time, so miles away. And he is here to meet with these characters to get them to do what he wants. No, he's trying to convince the 2. trying to convince the two major generals to take Orberg in order to divert the enemy's gaze from the area to Venkara. The two generals will be happy to which point Major General Farrington points to the group saying they are campaign's only hope. Alofet, that's too much coffee. I'm sorry, Sir Peter. I'm gonna ask you to not go into the details of the company just yet. I hope that's okay. It's completely unrelated, but I'll leave it to Magnus to maybe explain a little bit of why. So. This here is basically a dialogue scene with 3 NPCs. And it is crucial for this kind of setup to work that they're all yapping, and I just kind of have to believe I know what these guys are about. Since the players are in the room, I won't be able to write much dialogue for this. I could decide to add in here, you know, I could add a little dialogue line like this, and this is me. I you know, it doesn't say, it says Burnside will assure that blah 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 blah, and then I've got a line of dialogue in here. This is me telling myself, listen, this is what Burnside would say, right? But since the players are in the room, I can't really write out a script for what's going to happen. I just need to know Burnside is trying to steamroll these guys. These guys would let him steamroll them if they could literally do anything. But they cannot. So they are going to just sort of bounce it over to the heroes. And that is kind of the hook. Yeah. Rob, yeah, it's an insight into the goings on among the top brass and establishes the stakes, right? There are 3 major generals who are relying on this mission going right. And they are saying, is there anything that the war committee can do, with the politicians back in Blackguard? Is there anything they can do? And they're going, well, they sent these 6 jackasses who have shown up here smoking pipes and cigarettes and talking shit, and apparently they're going to help. How do our group hear this dialogue thingy? They show up. They walk into the room. They're probably guided there or whatever, but they walk into the room, and I just start talking. And for me to do that, I need an opening line. fact that they have different motivations makes the players feel like they're also in the right spot. Yeah, you got it completely, Rob. Everybody listen to Rob. The NPCs, if they could solve this problem, then they would, but they can't. That's why the player characters are there. The plot, the reason we're cutting in on this moment is because they need thwarted by a dam. Thwarted by a dam. Yes. Josh, thank you. Good cop, bad cop? Yeah. The two generals that are left in the room are going to be people in their 30s, right? I'm going to say they're young, but they're young for generals, right? They're fresh out of the university. They've been through some military academy. They know all the theories, but this is their first time in conflict. The 6th and 7th Division of the Army were created earlier that year. So they literally just shipped here, and right, they found some guys who did really well at the College of Stagecraft or whatever. And that's it. I'm not going to write more. I could probably just continue yapping here for a bit. We switched time zones? Yeah, Rob, it's all West Wing. It's all West Wing all the way down. It's never not West Wing. Alright, so this here is the opening scene. Now I believe in this, right? I know who these people are. So what happens next? Notice, I'm ignoring the start. It scares me, so I'm not dealing with it right now. I deal with the stuff that's easy. You can always go up, go back, go down, go up. No reason to do it in the right order. You're not impressing anyone, you're just writing. You get to impress people when you start playing. So, don't start a paragraph with when. Has Burnside worked with the expeditionary group before? That's a good question. That's exactly the kind of question that my players would ask me and I would not be able to answer. He has. You're right. He has. Burnside saw and met and talked to the expeditionary company, presumably in and around the... No, he wasn't in Whitehall. Hang on, now I'm just having to question my own lore for a second. I don't think so. I don't think the expeditionary company were much use in the Errant. No, Burnside didn't just graduate. Burnside's a legend. That guy's been around. He's also an Oxbridge twat, but he's been around. He's legit. You know what I have to do, right? You see an airplane? There we go. Fun. Receives a missive straight from the top. The First Chancellor and the Chairman of the War Committee, Wallace Craig, which is my sort of Winston Churchill, has taken a great deal of interest in this operation. And that is not going to be a part of the adventure. But that is going to be going on in a political layer behind the scenes. And that's what Burnside is off to do. I think the reason Burnside's here is to scare these generals straight. He was sent here, it was politics. He was sent here to go shout at them. He was sent here to go, treat them all a little bit like garbage. Because they've been thwarted by a dam. If I make a reference to a really old movie, I could count on Rob getting it. I'm not going to have there be two generals in the room. Well, no, I'm gonna. I'm gonna do, sorry, Rob. The thin one and the fat one. Listen, I could say that I've been both. The thing is, when you're doing two characters and you're doing them at the same time, you kind of want to be able to just sort of shuffle between them. You want to be able to and bounce the ball fairly easily. So just make sure that you give them some kind of stereotype, right? You kind of have to be reductive, but you give them some kind of stereotype, and then you can play them off each other. Now you got a double act all on your own. Yeah, Kubrick, that's funny. That's funny, I might do that. So what's the mission? We're going to summarize it one more time. You have no idea how much of being a DM, being a director, being a boss, being, whatever you do when you're trying to lead people in a certain direction. All of these skills are mostly about saying something and repeating it, and then saying it and repeating it, and saying it and repeating it, and just doing that ad infinitum. Thank you, Vectra. Thank you so much. That's beautiful to hear. Does Burnside have a good impression of the group? Yeah, he believes in these guys. This is it. This is probably going to be the single longest scene of the evening, and this is probably all I need for it. Because I'm going to explain what these things are down here, and I'm going to explain who these characters are already in this scene. So this is probably all I need. Not every scene needs to be the same length. There's nothing about good structure that's going to get you into heaven. Just write whatever you need and move on. Lou, that sounds incredible. That truly, life goals. Congratulations. Now is a decent time to talk about the sort of gray morality of war, right? The Atroxians are unseating tyrants. They're going to depose these objectively bad people. And winning the war is an objective good. But the Atroxians are also an empire. They're a monarchy. They're not unambiguously good. They're classist. They are capitalist. They're secretive. They're ruthless. So when the soldiers show up in Glamara, they are kind of expecting to see a bit of destruction. They're expecting to see a little bit of almost commentary, and that's sort of, this is my chance for it. Ultimately, this is a game, and we're gonna play D&D, and we're gonna be the good guys, and we're gonna fight these tyrants, right? King Ulbrich is terrible, bad, just the worst. So, but I also need to show that the Atroxians came in here and they did this the easiest way they could. They showed up with a fleet. They bombarded from the shore and then just sent in the troops to occupy. If you've played Civ and you've gotten to a naval level, right? It's literally the same. You just line up the fleet, you go and you send in the dudes. That's what the Atroxians did. They could have done this a more humane way. They chose not to, because that would have cost more lives, taken more time. So they made a calculation, a gross calculation, but one they made. And here's where we are. The impersonality of push-button war. Yeah, this war is being controlled by politicians far away. Your world as a Civ map when? I've done that. I've made all of Atroxia as a Civ map and played on it, and it was a lot of fun. For me. Haha. The scale was off, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. I don't think I need this here. I think if I say that there is a safe hold of Glamara, I'm going to describe the Dwarven Keep. Now, maybe I go and I write this in. I'm looking at the clock. I know that at some point AB is going to come home, so I'd like to get most of this done before then. So I'm gonna tag this, and I'm gonna not worry about it. Here in the chapter header, we're gonna write down I often write here a message for myself. Something that I can, in the middle of running the game, I could look down at and I can go, okay, got it. This is what I'm doing right now. This message is just, what am I trying to achieve in the first half? How do I know that the first half of this session was a success? hang on, I've forgotten how keyboards work. That's it. That's probably a fine chapter heading. Isn't this more of like a cold open? So here, I need a bit of text. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to have an opening monologue. I'm going to move the previous op above the opening monologue. I'm going to erase one of these. I'm going to call it the cold open. I love a good cold open. I love it when a thing just starts. Everyone's sitting around the table. I click play and I go blah, 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 blah. And they're all like, whoa, 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 what's going on? Hi, Teo. Hi. Thanks for catching us live. Jack Duncan, you're very welcome. It's incredible to me that this software is free. Fascinating. Let's start medias res. Have you watched our video on starting in medias res? Just go check it out. Let's see. Do I have names for any of these commander characters? The commander, no. All right, so I go blank. I'm gonna need the players to tell me their names, right? So actually, I'm gonna go. Why is it doing so? Some update came from Obsidian, and it's amazing, apparently. There's some cool stuff in it, they tell me. But I am still trying to figure out how to operate the new enter function. Val, you're still here! You should get this, you should get Obsidian. I'm sorry, they don't pay me, I'm just a fan. I think I should do this. The lieutenant is going to be played by AB, and I know she's going to freak out when I do this, and I think it's just going to get everyone laughing and having a good time. Victor Borge. I don't know what that is, Rob. I'm sorry. You outpaced me. I can't wait for the lieutenant. She's not going to know what to say. I can't do this. This is mean. I'm not going to do this. Let's just do the army movement sniper rolls attack roll. Let's do that. Magnus's idea was better than mine. He's going to roll for an attack with his Oakenfall. The Oakenfall is a firearm in my setting. It's basically like a buffalo hunting gun. It has incredible range and loads of damage. And the Oakenfall is among the many different kind of specialized firearms these Expeditionary Company guys are going to have. They are going to have all kinds of cool guns. They're going to have like revolvers called Oldfields, which are basically 6-shooters. They have slightly lower range, lower damage. There's going to be a Cleveland, which is a bolt-action rifle, or a Dullwater, which is a lever-action thing. These are all different kinds of firearms that exist in my setting, and their names are canon to how I think of them. And if you want access to these firearms, you could become a channel patron. If you go join our Patreon, and we have access to all the firearms there. They are all listed under the firearms rules, which is a PDF for Mystic Adepts or higher. I'm going to make sure I can get you folks a link. Hey, there is no higher. What am I talking about? Mystic Adept. And these guys, this is like a 9-page document. All of these characters will have firearms out of that document. They will also have, like grenades and gas masks. They'll have, I sent them a list of their equipment that they could use. I told them that they could use an advanced firearm of their choice, a single firearm upgrade of their choice. There are firearm upgrades at the bottom of the sheet. Gas mask, 2 filters, a pair of hand bombs, and then either a second advanced firearm or other equipment other than advanced firearms worth no more than 100,000 notes. The whole sheet is in notes, which is the currency of my campaign world. And they can either have an armor of their choice or light armor and an additional 100,000 notes to spend on specialized equipment from the other or special lists in the firearms dock, which is like grenades and stuff like that. And then they all get a bit of special equipment as well. And one of them gets a free upgrade, the scoped upgrade. Although I think they wanted to change it to a muffled, which we let them. And then they could also get the brawler gets the double decker, which is a blunderbuss on 2 floors. I don't know. Yeah. Smooth integration. Thanks, right? This is way smoother than the beginning of the stream where I talked on mute for ages. Anyway, thanks for indulging me. I'm just going to put in the sapper, sniper, right? Lieutenant, Commander, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the medic. Just gonna, sorry. There we go. Can you imagine somebody pays me to do this professionally? That's insane, right? Thanks, Rob. We put a whole bunch of work into those things. I've been running firearms for 5 or 6 years now. This newest rules iteration, me and Magnus sat down. We made sure to formalize all the language and stuff like that. They are purposely kind of overpowered, but you have to use an action to reload, and they're very expensive. And you should kind of treat the advanced firearms like special loot to give your players. And you can always make them damaged if you want to nerf it a bit. Nick, you don't have to call me out like that. Alright. So, the bad guys are talking. This is about something else. I think this is fun if it's a dialogue about something that doesn't matter. You know, what are the things the stormtrooper says? You seen those new T-18s? Don't know what to make it about. Freeport? Tradia? Tradia's fun. They could be doing an op in Ivywood. Sorry for the Icelandic letters. That's just how it is. These are a pair of enemy soldiers. They are talking about somebody they killed. BT-16s. Just don't make it tipping. Ah. Hello, Val Martin. My name is Daði. Nice to meet you. Enemy soldiers are talking. They're making fun. They're saying, "Oh, you know, all these Troxians. They think it's all about decorum. And it's all about being nice, shaking hands before fighting, that kind of thing." And in the middle of saying that, his head's gonna blow up. Elephant, if you're random treasure hunting in an abandoned town, you don't need to make the loot table. You can just roll on the DMG loot tables. I routinely, if the players go somewhere I don't expect, or they're looking for loot where I didn't think there might be any, or sometimes even on purpose, I just go grab the Dungeon Master's Guide, and I open up and I have them roll. They seem to like it. Yanis asks, "What a war breed?" Ah, now we approach one of the big elephants in the room. I steal a lot of stuff from everywhere. We've talked about this beforehand in other streams. The last war in my campaign is sort of everybody fighting the Invincible Overlord. Now that's when I first stole that from Matt Colville. It was long before there was ever a Invincible Overlord stream or the chain or any of those things. But I stole that, and I stole a whole bunch of other lore from him, including the fact that he makes his own soldiers, and these are those guys. So what are we up to? 1,000 words. Do I allow silvery barbs in my games? Not anymore. When we switched to 2024, I told everybody that yeah, Selka responded. I told everybody that that I'm just using the new rules in the new player's handbook. And if they didn't reprint something, I'm interpreting that as a choice on their part. Favorite module for a dungeon crawl one shot. Oh, wow. The Alien Tomb's great. The Forge of Fury is not a one shot, but you can do it in about 3 sessions, maybe 4. That one's a lot of fun. It's from Yawning Portal. I also had a lot of fun playing Tomb of Horrors, but I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. I honestly don't play Tomb of Horrors, but I had a lot of fun. So next hook. In order for this, in order for us to be able to sort of tie a bow on this, we kind of need to write something here, and we need to write something here, and then we need to prep this whole section. How come I switched before the new master manual? Nuntius Mortis. We switched before the player's handbook was out. As soon as they started releasing playtests, we were excited about it. So we started making characters with a new playtest. We started playing when the playtest was in early access, and we were making characters. And then when the first group session rolled around, everybody had to switch to the new player's handbook, and then we've been playing since. We were just really excited to start. So, somewhere in here, I'm going to add an element. I need somebody to carry the plot hook in a briefcase. So, response team. Hi guys, I need a name for a dwarven response team. I haven't decided on a plot hook yet. I need a name for a dwarven response team. While you guys work on that, I'm gonna go look at what kind of plot hooks I need. They need to be something fierce, something that could be could be in Warhammer. Hammer Strike. Hammer Strike. This is the guy I need. Engineer's been feeding Atroxians information. The Maul. The beard patch. Yeah, the beard patch. Hammer. Hammer Strike is a Nerf gun. That's funny. I think Rob, you're gonna have to be disappointed because I don't know if any of my players know anything about Nerf. Hammer. Iron breakers, yeah. Husband suggested hammer with like an acronym. Why is beard batch is just giving me too much life? I don't. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. He can't take Rob can't take Hammer Strike seriously, so it's got to be beard batch because that's something we can all take seriously. I don't need to say dwarven, they're all dwarves. Yeah, you guys like beard badge, don't you? Hey, made a hole. I'm trying to move me. There we go. Tank. They'll send in the beard batch. Yes, that is funny. An onomancer is word magic for anyone who's missed previous streams. I'm just going to call it a heavy. So it's going to be one walking tank, like full plate armor, like chunk, really, you know, AC 23 or some stupid nonsense. They're level 11. Neuromancer, heavy, and a gunner. I don't have these guys' stats, and I don't know if I'll. Here's the secret. Here's the secret to having done this for ages. I wish I could give you a tip on this, but frankly, the thing is, I know the monster manual backwards and forwards. I could probably just go and, you know, invent some dudes. Downsized Fire Giant Dreadnought. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. I'm going to open D&D Beyond, but I'm not going to stream it because fellow D&D tubers have gotten into trouble for that. Fire Giant Dreadnought. We don't want Blurred Gate, everybody, so we're gonna behave. Yeah. Doesn't matter what the stat block says, it matters what I say it says. This here is probably going to be an assassin. I'm going to say small in here just so I know. And the Odomancer is probably going to be Abjurer. Actually, that's not gonna do anything. Let's make it be an enchantment. This is going to go in on top of everything else they're fighting. So, how many dwarves are in the Dwarf Bastion? I don't know. Like 30? And how do we... good night, Luke. Thanks so much for joining. It's intended to be a vague mirror to the players, not a full one. Do my dwarven women have beards? I have had a player play a dwarf woman, and she decided that she had a beard. So, yeah, I haven't... I don't think I've explicitly given dwarf women beards, but she wanted to have like facial hair, like a bit, and I was like, okay. If your player character says, it's important for my fun to have a beard, you say, okay. I'm gonna find some Duergar stat blocks, and I'm gonna say that that's what the Venkarans are. There's a thing called the Duergar Warlord. We're gonna use those. And Karan soldiers, we're gonna use probably a more generic sort of hammer. AC 17, 33 hit points. It might even be too much. I want them to have high AC but low hit points. What's a Duergar like normally? Honestly, I'm going to decide these are all hobgoblins. And I think in the tower we've got, maybe that's where we put a hammer. I've got D&D Beyond here open on the second monitor, and I'm just looking at it and deciding. I'm going to say that these guys are actually 10, and Karn, Duergar, Stone Guard. They're the elites. What's a good flying bad guy? Flying creature of some kind. Dragon. Actually, like a wyvern. What does a wyvern stat block look like? It's 100 hit points. And I'm gonna, real quick, I'm gonna search for my firearms document. I'm gonna find, in my firearms document, here's a little sneak peek, everybody. And I'm gonna see, listen, Gatling gun, no, that's not it. Broadsider 8d10, okay? I'm gonna say they're half HP wyverns, and they can do the. Hey, I'm just wrapping up. Oh. You want to say hi?
Sure.
AB's here, everybody. She's not allowed to look at the screen. Oh, you can see all the things.
I can't see anything.
Ah, hang on, you're
just a blob.
Hello, blob. Say hi to AB, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Victor might be playing electric bass at the concert.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we need an electric bass player, and I texted him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. We're just wrapping up. We don't have that much left.
Okay.
I'm doing some CR math that you're definitely not allowed to see.
I see. I'll just go eat ice cream.
Alright, go eat ice
Just
cream.
poke me when you're done.
Yeah. We didn't manage to meet our goal. Everybody's saying hi, by the way. She's real.
I heard that. I am real. There's video proof of me on the channel.
Yeah, you hugged me in the newest video.
No, but even before that, there's a skit where I talk to myself.
Yeah, she's in the exploring how to explore game.
How to make exploration better.
Better. She's in that one. She's at the start. Iceland, February, ice cream. Yeah, listen. When you live on a rock with no sunshine, you're allowed to eat ice cream when you want. It's not a weather thing. It's a mood thing. All right, so you can see here, I could make stat blocks for these guys, and maybe I will. You know, I still have a month to go. Maybe I'll make a stat block. You know, I could make stat blocks for the actual turret. I could make stat blocks for all these Venkarns, but there are thousands of D&D monsters out there. So like, I don't need to. I can just sort of say this is that, and then, you know, they're Duergar. I'm not gonna make them go large. I'm not gonna make them go invisible, but I'll have the extra damage. I'll have them do whatever they do. It's not a big deal. You know, the wyverns don't have a ranged attack, but I could decide that if the gyrocopter shoots at you with its rotary gun going, I'll have that do the same damage as the stinger. Why not? My players will go, that's insane, and I'll go, yes. And then we're done. That's the whole conversation. I'll go, you can't do that. And I go, you bought a powder barrel. You could do 8d10 damage when you want to, or something. Like, you know, so that's that. I need you all to get me, in order for me to wrap up, I need you all to get me the name of a dwarf nerd. What is a dwarf nerd name? Dingy. Yeah, that's funny. Samurai, you got it. Oh, Rob gave us a last name. Littlebottom. Yeah, let's use it. Now remember, here in our notes, we say one of them has been feeding Atroxians information. So that means that brief we got earlier is from Dingy Littlebottom. So we have to go up here. What is the purpose of rewriting? It is pretending that you knew what you were doing from the start. Okay, and then I need a dwarven village from upriver. Small dwarven village name. Here I'm gonna put up some other dwarf names that we've been using, so you sort of see what I'm about. Pallet Fields, Moldara, Karam, Vardak, Halkani, Organot. I love Dingy already. Yeah, right? This is the power of names. You just call a guy Dingy Littlebottom and everyone's like, oh, Dingy Littlebottom. Cobblestone Town. What did Rob say? Is that a reference? Bristlebroom. 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 That's good. It lets me roll my R's. Volderveer. No, I'm going to be thinking of Voldemort. Bristlebroom. That's it. Thanks, Neymar. Alright, so what do? We call someone Dingy Littlebottom. They're all going to laugh. They're going to say, that's dumb. And then later on in the session, I'm going to say there's a document from a Dingy Littlebottom, a car and engineer in Bristlebroom. So they captured and intend to torture for information about Troxian movement. Bam. So they succeed, they fail, whatever happens. An onomancer does word magic, Joshua. Whatever happens, they succeed, they fail, whatever. As long as this onomancer, or some dwarf, if they don't get the onomancer, but they get the heavy, or they get the gunner, I just take this bit of plot information, I move it, I give it to whoever they get. In the case of Catastrophe, I introduce a new character who says, I found this. Do you want it? Is it important? And then I tell them that their friend, Dingy Littlebottom, that they were all laughing at earlier, is in danger. And also has all of the intelligence on the Atroxian war movement. And what's more, Dingy was working secret Karan weapon. The Steam Wolf, which is the mech suit. If you've read Jason Alexander's So You Want to Be a Dungeon Master, or the blog, The Alexandrian, first off, congratulations, you're a cultured man. This is the 3-clue rule in action. Fun name. About to be tortured. So not just fun name, let's ignore that. About to be tortured. So we like him. Fun name, about to be tortured. Atroxian movement. Steam Dwarf. There are 3 reasons why they have to go do this next. Is this railroading? A little. Like just a little. I don't think it's railroading. I think it's just having the next adventure ready. Because whatever happens here is up to the players. And how that affects the rest of the adventure is up to the players. I won't decide that. So it is actually maximally gameplay. All I've done is promise them that we can play D&D next week. And if you think that's railroading, I think you've gone off the deep end, frankly. This needs to be here, so we all know what are we doing next week. And next week, if you remember the outline we did, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in that town, and there are 3 different plot hooks you can get for 3 different missions. And they all have an effect on the final mission. They all change the conditions of the test in the final mission. So it is important that the players decide how they entered this situation. Right? A hook is not railroading. They could ignore it if they so choose. Yeah, listen, if the players have no interest in this, that won't happen. I know my players. But if they don't, Dinky dies, and the next time we meet anybody is when the Chainbreakers make themselves known to the players, and then they meet the Chainbreakers, and they lose out on all these optional victories, and the dwarves have a mech at the end. Once you being prepared and having an outline and having preparation done does not mean you're railroading. Railroading is when you deny the players the opportunity to do something because you don't think that's what should happen based on what you want. It's when you're being a dictator, right? Cortex, it is just linear storytelling, but I think it's more than that because they can not go save Dingy. They can not go take all these missions. They can't fail the mission they're in. There's a bunch of stuff. So we just make sure that this all is pointing in one direction. And then if everything else fails, we just skip a session. We move on with the content. Squirt -1 isn't the 3-clue rule that there are 3 ways to find that he's in danger. You're correct. That is correct. If you're doing a mystery adventure, that is absolutely the rule as intended, as pitched by Justin, Mr. Alexander. I'm cheating. This is very heavy-handed, but I'll allow it because it is the pilot episode. Jake Lamb, absolutely. Yeah, that's what happens if you don't go save Dinky. He's forced into the mech. Alright. We have a whole session, guys. This is it. We're done. What we need now is an opening monologue. Alright? So, what I need from you is I need you to help me pick the opening song. I need to play some bit of music. It has to be from a movie or a video game, and it needs to have a bit of a silent build-up for about like 5 or 10 seconds, and then it needs to drop a beat. And it can't be too overpowering, that I need to be able to talk over it. I'm going to write down some stuff real quick. It's all stuff that we have somewhere, so I should be able to just scroll up and copy paste some of it. Look at that. Why is it like this? Why? They changed something, and I don't like it when things change. Joshua, I don't have a stream schedule. We're working on that. But if you go on our YouTube channel page, you can click on live and you can see previous live streams on the VOD. The main theme from Hunt for Red October might work. Let's have a look at that. That is exactly the kind of thing we're looking for. It is obscure enough that when I hit play, my players won't all go, you're playing that one. Yeah, I can't use this. It's got lyrics. But there may well be a non-lyric Nuclear Scam, for instance, from Hunt for Red October is pretty good. I wonder, can I get away with streaming this? Let me know if the audio cuts out because YouTube kills it. I don't know. It might kill the VOD, though. No, I won't be able to use the Hunt for Red October soundtrack. It's too orchestral and it does a whole bunch of loops. Company of Heroes, Bryce Barrett says. Let's have a look at that. Ooh. This is really good. Good stream, right? Watch Daði listen to music. I like this. Main theme from Company of Heroes, everybody. Yeah, this is a winner. When diplomacy fails. The politicians turn to the armed forces. The armed forces fail. They rely on you. What does it say about Expeditionary Group? Released without a tether. Can we use that? This song is great. Yeah, I got it. It is the main theme from Company of Heroes. I'm not allowed to play it to you. YouTube will send the Pinkertons. God, sorry, that's somebody else. War is the continuation of policy with other means. That's fun. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Rob. We're just about to wrap up. All right, this is great. It goes very hard at the end, but I think I can work with that. So what I do here, we have a hook. I read this at the beginning of every session in tempo to the music we just talked about. The main theme from Company of Heroes by Chris Velasco. Then I summarize the setting. In session 2, this will summarize session 1, but since this is session 1, this summarizes what happened beforehand. It's got a lot of proper nouns in it. The players will sit there and they'll go, oh my god, I don't, which one do I write down? That's fine. We're just going to move on. They will be able to catch them later. Then I move into where you are. You are here. When you arrive in Glamara by sea, you find the city in a sour state. Glamara is a shadow of its former self. The houses have been bombarded. The eyes, civilians, follow you. You meet for contact. Let's decide that they meet Jacob Thompson. So, why am I doing it like this? What I don't want is to start a session of D&D, and then everybody sort of goes, wait, what's next? What am I doing? What? Do I shoot somebody? What's going on? I want to start a session of D&D and everybody knows what the score is. There's a hook. There's a bunch of stuff going on. Oh my god. I hope Daði's going to give us an opportunity to understand this. Don't worry, I will. This is where you come in. Second hook, right? You arrive in Glamara, so you're in, let's say, the grand port city of Glamara by sea. You find the city in a sour state. And then we have this bit here, which I just skip over right now. And I continue reading here. Glamara's shadow of its former self. Major General Jacob Thompson. Would a Major General meet special agents in view of some civilians from an occupied city? That's a good question. Maybe not. But I think it's probably fine. I think I just describe him as having an entourage. And I think he's making a show of saying, I, the Major General here, am relying on you. It is important to me that you show up, that I can trust you. So he's going to make an effort to be visible here. So I think that's what it's about. It's mostly trying to get that feeling of okay, we're important. This Major General made time for us. We just add the troops now, surrounding him. Remember, we render, we go in passes. So first off, we're in a city, okay. Bombarded houses, got it. Civilians watching us, got it. There's dude, okay. Jacob, alright. Morning, surrounding him. A whole Droxian, hang on. I was taught a trick by one of our channel members on how to not do that, and I forgot it, so I'm sorry. Military company is 4 field officers. 4 field officers is 42 fusiliers. So if he brings a company with him to meet them, that means there's a sergeant major next to him and 160 men. I think 160 men would secure a pass. Yeah. So here I might do and I need a sergeant major's name. I'm gonna go to my friend Emily because Maxwell. We don't need to know more about this guy. Maxwell is here. He's standing here. He's a commanding officer. That's it. So we put him in a scene. We say there's a whole company surrounding him. And he says, "How was your journey?" The reason I'm asking a question is so that they have something to say, and now we're in a dialogue scene. Right? Now we're just talking. That way they can yap on from here. They can go marching on their way to the palace. We can have a little bit of small talk. We can sort of summarize the situation a little with him. Then they get into the war room. They meet Burnside. They meet the other Major General, August Farrington. Then Burnside leaves. Farrington and Thompson brief the heroes. We talk about the Riverlock. Then I drop a map. If I had more time, I'd prep a whole map. But let's say the session starts in 10 minutes. I'm going to have to figure that out when I start. I'm going to deploy some map foo and hopefully I'll land a solution I like. We've got some stat blocks sort of referenced here for reference. And we got our next hook. And then we have our outline and we trust that when we're done with this session, we'll be able to do this again over the course of, this took us 3 hours now. If I wasn't explaining myself to you folks, it would have taken less time. This was 1,400 words. It's not that tough. It's a little tough. Be kind of impressed. No, that's kind of how it's gonna work. This is the adventure, folks. This is all it takes to get an adventure from scratch, ready enough that you can start. So, I believe that's all there is to it. A video on MapFoo, yes, it's on the channel. Video number 2. It's called Deploy, like Chris Perkins's MapFoo or something. Check it out. We do a whole boss room on the fly. I made it up on the spot. The beard batch. I believe that's everything for tonight. I'm going to make sure that AB isn't sitting and eating ice cream by herself, so that I'm going to go join her and eat my ice cream. this is the end of the Prepping and Adventure series, or the Venkara Adventure series. There is a channel on the Discord where some people are free to, members are free to talk about this. If you want, you can come join us there. If you want our firearm rules, they are now available on the Patreon for the Mystic Adept tier and above, and that has firearms and grenades and all that sort of stuff. That is it for now. So until next time, which I assume is going to be the 30K live stream, that's where we'll pick it up next time. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate all you folks so much. And until next, keep studying the mystic arts.